Well, hello again. Welcome again to another episode of Down to Earth but Heavenly Minded. And I'm your host, Irvrish. And we're going through the textbook for life, the Bible. And we're now going to be in chapter 2 of Exodus. We looked at the reason that the children of Israel were put under such bondage. But God is still with his people, and he's going to answer them. Of course, this is over a period of time. So there are some generations that have suffered under the hand of Pharaoh, but also Christians even today. There are many in the world that suffer. Different countries. I know that where I'm located, our sufferings are minimal, and the only thing that we get ridiculed for our beliefs, and people make fun of us. In fact, I have people that make comment all the time that think it's just so foolish to even believe the Bible and stuff. But they got a rude awakening coming when they leave this world, when they exit their bodies and uh, go in the presence of the Lord. They're going to find out that they're going to suffer a second death, which is a spiritual death. And the Bible says, do not fear him who can kill the body, but fear him who can kill the body and cast the soul in hell. So we need to trust the Lord. He's the only one who does not lie. So with that said, let's look at our second chapter in the book of Exodus today. And we're going to look at the birth of Moses. And I just want to make mention that before we even get to it, that uh, Pharaoh said that every male child that was going to be born to throw him in the river, throw him in the Nile. And actually, that's what his parents do, but they just don't throw him in. They put him in a little basket and they put him in the Nile. So literally, they followed what Pharaoh had told them, except that God uses it for the betterment of his people. So with that said, let's just read it. Now there was a man from the house of Levi, uh, went and took as his wife a Levi woman. The woman conceived and bore a son, and when she saw that he was a fine child, she hid him for 3 months. When she could hide him no longer, she took uh, for him a basket made of bulrushes and dabbed it with bitumen and pitch, and she put the child in it and placed it among the reeds of the river bank. And his sisters stood at a distance to know what would be done to him. Now the daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe at the river, and when her young women walked beside the river, she saw the basket among the reeds, and sent her servant woman, and she took it. And when she opened it, she saw a child, and behold, the baby was crying. And she took pity on him, and said, this is one of the Hebrew children. Then her sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call you a nurse from the Hebrew women to nurse the child for you? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go. So the girl went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, take the child away and nurse him for me, and I will give you your wages. Isn't that amazing? So the woman took the child and nursed him. And when the child grew older, she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. She named him Moses, because she said, I drew him out of the water. So you see, here's another meaning for the name Moses now. Now Moses flees to Midian. Now one day when Moses had grown up, he went out to his people and looked on their burdens, and he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his people. And he looked this way and that, and he seen no one, and he struck him down. And the Egyptian and hid and hid him in the sand. So he's a murderer now. Killed an Egyptian. When he went out the next day, behold, two Hebrews were struggling together, and he said to the man in the wrong, "Why do you strike your companion?" And he answered, "Who made you a prince and a judge over us? Do you mean to kill me as you killed the Egyptian?" Then Moses was afraid and thought, "Surely this thing is known." When Pharaoh heard it, he sought to kill Moses, but Moses had fled from Pharaoh and stayed in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. Now the priests of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the thongs of water their father and watered their flocks, the troughs of water and fed their father's flocks. And the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and saved them and watered the flock. When they came home to their father, Reuel, he said, "How is it that you have come home so soon today?" And they said, "An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds and drew water for us, and we watered the flock." He said to his daughters, "Then where is he? Why have you left the man? Call him, that he may eat bread." And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses his daughter Zipporah. She gave birth to a son, and he called his name Gershon. For he said, "I have been a sojourner in a foreign land." Now God heard Israel's groaning. During these many days the king of Egypt died, and the people of Israel groaned because of their slavery, and they cried out for help. Their cries for rescue from slavery came up to God, and God heard their groanings, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And God saw the people of Israel, and God knew. Well, it's a wonderful chapter. We see that God is actually preparing Moses, and he's probably working as a shepherd in the land of the Midianites. And in doing so, God is preparing him. Just like David, when we get to the life of David, we're going to see he started out as a shepherd boy and ended up being a king. You know, God takes the low ones in life, and he uses them because the glory will go to God and not to man. So with that said, we're going to end our session for today, and the next time we'll look at chapter 3. And these are all interesting stories, but they're all very meaningful in the scriptures, and we need to understand them. And we need to understand them from the physical standpoint and also from the spiritual standpoint. So with that said, I'm going to end our session for today. Until next time, bye for now.